Hi, Rod Fleming in the Philippines, State 2, Rod Fleming here. I want to talk a little bit today because I've had quite a few messages, over just when since I came back, about using the word ladyboy, right? Now, the first thing I'm going to say is, ladyboys call themselves ladyboy, right? So, you entitled USicans who think that, you can tell the world how to speak and how to behave, you can go and raffle yourselves. You seriously can. Ladyboys are ladyboys. And the logic is perfect because they see themselves as having the souls of ladies, but they were born in a boy's body. And they're like, well, this isn't my fault. This is the way I am. I just love men. Or I just love being a girl. And you immediately see the two classifications coming out. So the first thing to say that I want to say is, just get off your high horses. I will continue to use the word ladyboy and you are not going to stop me. And I would say to any Westerner, just don't listen to them. Invariably, you find that you're talking to either some blue-haired clown with a ring through her nose or, a Jeep in the West, who basically doesn't know which way is up. So, the ladyboys do, they do. So where did the word ladyboy come from? Ladyboy, let me just explain this, just means an unmasculine male, right? That's all it means. And as such, it covers a hell of a lot of different social presentations. It's a translation of words that are found all over the region to describe the same thing, an unmasculine male. And it was actually invented by the Americans, as far as I can work out. Because when their servicemen were here, particularly during the Vietnam War, they went to, the Philippines, they went to Thailand, to Cambodia, to other areas, on R&R, relax a little bit, boys. You've been dodging the whizzing bullets for a couple of weeks, time to take a couple of days off. And at that time, just for an example, in 1960, Pattaya was like a fishing village, 2 sheds. That was it, but it did have a guest house. So people would go there, and as soon as you got Americans with money, it's an opportunity, isn't it? Such an opportunity. So that's, you go to Pattaya now and you go, holy shit, there's a lot of money in this place. There is, and it all comes from what some people are pleased to call sex tourism. Same as any other type of tourism, except you get to shag while you're doing it. Nothing wrong with it. Anyway, the Americans were finding this same kind of people, hanging around the bars that they were going to. And sometimes they were dressed as boys, sometimes they were dressed as girls, but we were making absolutely no secret of the fact that they were interested in having sex, paid sex, with men. Buy me some drinks, buy me dinner, give me $30, and we'll see what we can do. And the Americans went, we've got Bakla in the Philippines, Badaf, you've got loads of others, you've got Katoy in Thailand, you've got Gutoy in Cambodia, you've got New Half in Japan, you've got loads, and they just went, enough, we'll just call them all ladyboys, because that's what they are, they're all the same. And the logic, as I say, the logic is perfect. Unmasculine male, born boy, but actually a lady. So the logic is fine, it's cool. I don't really have a lot of time for the people with the girls, with blue-haired girls with the rings through their nose, or the Jeeps. I really had enough of that. So anyway, let's move on from that. One of the characteristics of, just before I do that, try to avoid the word transgender in the Philippines, because here, and to an extent also in Thailand, I'm not sure about the other parts, but here it just means a post-operative ladyboy, a person a male who has had genital reconstruction surgery to install the facsimile of a vagina where once hung a penis, right? That's a transgender. And if you say transgender, then people will go, oh yeah, right, one of those. And, there could be 5 ladyboys standing beside her and they'll go, oh, yeah. Are you one of those? No, I'm a ladyboy. And that's the thing, you see? Ladyboys know what they are. If you ask a ladyboy, what are you? Are you a girl? They'll go, no, I'm not a girl, I'm a ladyboy. Ain't I more beautiful than the girls? And I'll tell you a story about an ex-girlfriend of mine who was just such a sweetheart. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but it didn't. We were together for quite a while. Anyhow, Jelly she was called. And she was very feisty. I mean, she would walk straight up to people. She thought people were looking at her in an untoward manner, you know. She would just walk straight up to them and go, have I got dirt on my face? Is there something hanging out from my nose? So why are you staring at me? You know, and I'd be standing there going, oh, please go around, open up and swallow me, you know, because you don't want any trouble. And she was like, Beeline. she's just a cracker, a wee firecracker, she really was. Anywho, she used to say, I know I'm not a girl. I don't have that thing down there. But I'm more beautiful than the girls. That's us. We are. We're better at being girls than the girls are. And of course the front is amazing and you feel like, God almighty, you know, how you want to say that? And they'll say that in front of women. And it's like, yeah, you've got that real, you know, yeah, fuck it. I'm really, really good at this. One area where they will say that particularly, I mean, they will say that about beauty. They'll say, we're more beautiful than girls. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they'll all say that. They'll say the most beautiful girls are ladyboys. But they'll also talk about their sexual prowess that way, particularly their abilities in fellatio. They'll say, well, you know, and I don't wish to be rude, that we can satisfy a man far better than any woman ever could. Quite how they know this, I don't know, you know. It's just an article of faith that they have. And that's, you know, that's what, these are things that make them proud to be ladyboys. You know, it's like, I can look after a man. I can look after a man better than you can. In every way. So just be cool, sister. And it's lovely when you see it, actually. Now, one of the things that came up is, are all ladyboys homosexuals? No. The situation is a lot more complicated than people think. In the late 90s, a guy, now Professor Sam Winter, did some surveys in Hong Kong. And what he basically did was he took his little notepad, you know, with the questions and walked around honkers asking people, you know. But, you know, I got to tell you, if you walk up to someone who's obviously a ladyboy, standing on a street corner at night in honkers and say, do you go with men? She's going to say yes. Isn't she? It's her job. Duh. You cannot rely on people telling you the truth about this. You know, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm a ladyboy. And they say, do you go with men? Yeah, sure. It's $50. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, how dumb do you have to be not to realise that they're just going to say exactly what you... Yeah, and they're Asians. There's no group of people on the planet better at telling you what you want to hear than Asians. Uh-huh. So, another interesting thing was done, and I came across this completely by accident. It was a study called They Chase Us Like Dogs. It was done in Cambodia, and it was done basically to try and find information that would be useful in the fight against HIV/AIDS. And so they started surveying ladyboys. Well, called them something else, but that's what they were. And they found something very interesting. They found two specific groups. Only two. They found a group that came out around about the age of 5 and a group that came out around about the age of 16. And they said this wasn't like a continuum. This was age 5, age 16. Two separate spikes. And they didn't know why. I spoke to one of the guys and they said, we didn't know why this was happening. And I kind of tried to explain a little bit about, you know, how the DSM saw this. Because this actually corresponds to the DSM's description of early onset gender dysphoria, which happens around about the age of 5, 4 to 6, and adolescent stroke adult onset gender dysphoria, which basically starts in the mid-teens, sometimes as early as 13, but you know, it's noticeably later. There is this gap. Now in the West, we would normally say that early onset gender dysphoria is strongly associated with homosexual gender dysphoria, such that these people will probably be either very feminine homosexuals or they will be actually transsexual homosexuals, right? It's not the other way around, by the way. We'll do another one on that. But they'll be transsexual homosexuals. But they're both homosexuals. They both want men. They want to play the woman in relationships with men. And the other group, now they are more difficult Because in the West you'll go, well, they're autogynephilic. So as Ray Blanchard said, you have to be gynephilic, that is attracted to women, to be autogynephilic. Well, that kind of breaks down here. Because these people, even if they've had girlfriends before, they came out, immediately start dating men. And it seems to be a cultural pressure. It goes something like this. If you are a boy who wants men, best thing you can do is get a dress, get some makeup, learn how to be girly, right? That way you'll catch a man. And you will, because there's really no taboo about that kind of thing here. It's fine. But on the other hand, it also says, if you're a boy who's fascinated by feminine beauty, and you have that thing where you want to be what you desire, then what you should do is get a boyfriend. Because that shows that you've succeeded. You are really feminine because you can attract men. So there's a real, it's not easy just to say, oh, one's one and the other's the other. I mean, you can tell if you talk to them. I mean, I had a girl, a very sweet girl, quite tall, but beautiful, and and we were talking, and I said, what set you off? And she said, oh, one day I found my sister's underwear, and I just, I had to go to the CR and relieve myself. I had the feeling incredible. And I went, yeah, well, I think I know what started that. But who do you date? Do you date men? Well, yeah, I date men. I'm not interested in women, only men. She was pursuing me. We didn't end up doing it. It was just, there were other complications at the time, and not because she wasn't attractive. She is very attractive. Leaving that aside. So there is another group which I quickly want to touch on, which very much like the Western Anglo-Saxon, if you like, idea of the transvestic autogynephile, or the autogynephile. And sometimes they're not transvestic. Sometimes they are. Their main dress is men. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to discuss this type and another type in the next video. Okay? So, just hang on and it'll come on. Bye bye. And I'll try to keep them at 12.5 minutes, not more.